Hello everybody, welcome back to Sam and Ham, and today we're going to be doing something a little bit different. We're going to be doing a Pokemon challenge run. I've seen these all over YouTube, and I find them pretty entertaining, so I wanted to give my own shot at it. I was very much inspired by people like Madrybread or JRose11, both fantastic creators, but I think they've been really missing out on, well, if you can't tell by the title of this video, a real diamond in the rough. This Pokemon gets overlooked by powerhouses such as Shedinja or Magikarp, but we're going to be trying a hard one today. Today we're going to be seeing if you can beat Pokemon Sapphire with only one Rayquaza. So Rayquaza is going to be a treat. He's got a pretty weak typing. Flying's fine, but Dragon is going to be letting us down just a little bit. Dragon is only super effective against itself, which means you're weak to the only thing you're good against. And it's weak to Ice, which is known for being a pretty powerful offensive typing. In addition, with our flying typing, that's going to mean we're 4 times weak to Ice, so pretty much anybody with Ice Beam is going to one-shot us throughout the campaign. And, something I didn't remember at the beginning of this challenge, there might be somebody in the Elite Four who might specialize in those, so we're going to have some fun when we get a little bit farther. And I'm sure somebody here is going to be saying it. Somebody's thinking, but Rayquaza is a legendary. They have to be good, right? Wrong. I mean, just look at Fion. Fion's garbage too, so Rayquaza is not the only one alone in this regard. Rayquaza was so bad that they had to give him a Mega Evolution, and they didn't even make him have to carry the stone to do it. He just needs to have a move. But seeing as we're going to be doing this in the original generation, he's not going to have access to that, so he's going to be even weaker than he probably is now. Just looking at the moveset, he learns that while he's leveling up, we don't get a lot of moves at lower levels, so we're pretty much stuck with what we got, and not a lot of type coverage here either. I feel like we're probably going to have to grind quite a bit just to get past Roxanne, because her Rock Tomb is just going to absolutely destroy us. I know most of these challenges do say that they don't use items in battle. I did take on that philosophy about halfway through the run, but you will notice a few fights I did have to resort to some items just because of how weak we were in the early game, and you'll see as we go. So our first difficult fight we run into is the first rival fight. I replaced Trico with Rayquaza. That way our rival would pick Mudkip, because I'm pretty sure Mudkip does eventually learn Ice Beam, so I wanted to, give us the best challenge we could possibly get. But luckily, this first fight doesn't end up being too difficult. I slow them down so that they can't get the speed advantage on me, and then just a few twisters later, and we win. Next thing that happens on our road to success here is we watch Wally catch a Pokemon, and then we run into the first major hurdle of the run, Rich Boy Watson. As you can see, we hit him with a twister doing big damage, but we only have one damaging move. Thus, we have to resort to using Scary Face until we run out of PP, so that we can eventually struggle this poor Zigzagoon to death. It was an absolutely brutal start, and as you'll see, things don't get better immediately. It's going to take some time before we can really kind of come into any amount of useful moves. Because Twister, I mean, it sounds cool because it's a Dragon-type move, but it does 40 base power, which is just awful. Of course, the next big fight is Roxanne, and as you see, things start off decently well. I slow down this first Geodude, making sure he can't get the advantage on me with my Scary Face, before I just start to lay into him with Twisters. Unfortunately, he does big damage right back with Rock Tomb, and he slows me, so my Scary Face to slow him down becomes less effective as the fight goes on. But after a few Twisters, she heals him up, but luckily I was able to knock him out anyway. But then she sends out her Nose Pass. I gave up on trying to maintain the speed advantage and just have to go straight for Twisters right off the bat. Unfortunately, his Rock Tomb just ends up being way too powerful, way too strong. And so this was one of the 2 fights where I do unfortunately have to resort to using a potion in order to top myself back off. And even then, as you can see, it's really close. That Rock Throw really took away way too much health too quickly. And we were only barely able to scrape by a win because we got a lucky critical hit. But hey, I'll take what we can get when we're working on such a weak Pokemon. After that, we go save Pico from this random jerk in a cave. After we beat him up, we hit level 15, and finally we get another attacking move. Ancient Power, gonna come in clutch. Even if it's only 5 more PP, it'll be something. After that, we go catch a Zigzagoon, and give him an apt name, before we hide on a boat and head to Dewford. The reason we picked up a Zigzagoon is, 1, he's a very useful Pokemon when it comes to HMs. He can learn a lot, and he has the pickup ability so we can occasionally loot items off of him. But as we go to make our way through the cave to find Steven, as you can see, we've run out of PP again, and we had to resort to running away from an Abra. But we do manage to run away, and we get to Steven, deliver the letter, and head over to Brawley. We start off the fight just by using Ancient Power, really trying to hope for the low % chance that we can just get a big stat boost out of it, just so hopefully we can get on the same tier as him using all these bulk ups. Unfortunately, due to some bad RNG, we just don't get it. I change back to Twister because it does just a little bit more damage. He sends out Makahita, and I try to lead in with a Scary Face to make sure we can maintain the speed advantage, but unfortunately it misses, and he gets a free bulk up out of it. Luckily, next turn we were able to get that Scary Face off, slow him down just a little bit. He does go with a knockoff, doing some damage, but unfortunately, due to some really bad mischance, we miss another Scary Face, and he gets off another bulk up just for free. So I give up on the Scary Face strat, try to go for some more random proc chance with that Ancient Power, but luck's just not on our side, and then he starts to lower our accuracy. I was starting to sweat here. Tried to go for another Ancient Power, missed, he bulks up again. At this point, his attack and defense have got to be getting way up there, way too high. The only reason we managed to live this long is because our flying typing makes us resistant to his fighting attacks, but unfortunately we don't have a flying type attack yet to really capitalize on that. And at this point, we're running out of PP with Ancient Power. I just have to try to resort to using Twister to take him out. We get some okay damage. If it wasn't for all the buffs, it might have been enough, but unfortunately it just wasn't. He gets off a major arm thrust. And right as we were trying to finish him off, he gets that super potion off, gets off some big healing. But we follow it up another Twister, get him pretty low. Try to follow up again, but we miss again because of all those sand attacks he was able to get off earlier. Hitting us up with, then he hits us with another huge arm thrust, getting in so many hits. We miss again. At this point, we're into the yellow, and I'm really starting to panic, but we only got one shot, and it's just go for Twister. We miss again. He keeps going again with a knockoff. If he was just a little smarter, went for arm thrust there, he might have had us, but luckily we were able to sneak out a win there. Next big fight is with May. She leads in with a Shroomish. I wasn't really all too worried about it. As you can see while we were off camera, we did get Dragon Claw, which is a much better move than Twister. It's going to be our main damage dealing move, I think, pretty much the rest of the game. We get some really good RNG here, making him flinch with the Twister, so we can just go for a really clean kill. Don't let him get upset. Don't let him set up on us too much. They go with a Numel next. We go just more Twisters, really trying to pray for like flinch hacks, but unfortunately he was able to get an attack. But you know he did miss. So why be good when you can just be lucky? That's my strat in the entire game. Followed up with another Twister, he gets defeated, we're getting some good XP here. And then he goes with Marshtomp, and I'm just praying he doesn't get an ice type attack yet. Because pretty much once he does, we just have to super overlevel him. You can see here they go for a bide, so we know we either have to finish him off here or we just go for the statuses, but I'm like, I bet we can do it. And what do you know, we get a lucky crit and we win the fight pretty easy. And then we get to Watson, and Watson was brutal. This is where I really wasn't even sure if we were going to be able to beat the game by the end of it after this fight, I'll be honest. We lead in with an Ancient Power, trying to get some good stat boosts right off the bat, but it isn't very effective. We do get a crit, but it isn't able to finish him off, unfortunately. We have to fight the rest of this fight paralyzed. He goes for Supersonic, thankfully missing. We finish him off with a Twister. He goes Voltorb next, and here we're not even trying to go for any kind of flinch hacks. We're just trying to get him as much damage on the board as possible, as quick as we can. We go for a Dragon Claw, and luckily just have enough power to one-shot him. Voltorb clearly not made out of the sternest stuff here. And now here's where the problems arise. This Magneton. It's rough. He's got the Steel typing, he's got damage, he's such a high level, and he can't possibly miss with the Shockwave move. I was feeling kind of confident when I go for that first Dragon Claw, but I knew he was going to heal up. I knew we needed some stat boosts to try to get this done. So I try to go for an Ancient Power here, and you can see that crit brought us down to 5 HP, and we get the Paralyze. So this is the last time, the last fight in the game, I promise, where we use a healing item, we use a Soda Pop, get us back up to 65 HP. He leads in with another Shockwave. Brings us down low. Luckily, no crit, so I was like, alright, we just gotta get Dragon Claw, try to get as much damage on the board as possible. He goes for another Shockwave. Brings us down to 12 HP. Go for another Dragon Claw. Thankfully, we didn't get paralyzed this time. Get him down to the red health, and I was like, we could try to finish him off, but I know he's gonna heal, so I needed to heal as well. Lo and behold, he does. We try to go for another Dragon Claw. Luckily, he was stupid and went for a Sonic Boom rather than the Shockwave that has been doing so much damage. Shockwave, obviously, Sonic Boom obviously being locked at 20 damage does not do nearly as much. Then he does follow it up with a Shockwave, and we're like, getting a little bit low. We go for another Dragon Claw here. Get him down to the red health, and I was like, can I take one more hit? I hope so. But then he heals again, like a coward. As you can see here, we go back and forth a few more times. That Sonic Boom takes us down to 9 HP. We're paralyzed again. Heal up a third time in one fight. Like I said, this was the most brutal... Well, I won't say the most brutal. The most brutal is yet to come. But this was one of the most brutal fights in the entire run. He leads in with another shockwave. I get paralyzed again, healing a 4th time. Another shockwave, another dragon claw, another sonic boom. We just keep going back and forth here. This just was draining on the nerves. But we get him down to the red health. I have to just hope he doesn't have any more healing. I have to hope we don't get paralyzed. Down to 7 HP. The final Dragon Claw goes out. We finally managed to bring that one home. In retrospect, I should have just lost. I should have just gone to grind up more like I knew we were going to have to, but, you know, I just wanted to see if we could do it, so. After that, we go fight this family of 4, and we just beat up everybody inside and take a Macho Brace from them. While it wasn't a huge help, I did put it on during most of the grinding sections of the game just to help get us any amount of statage we can to just make up for our lack of base stats. Next big fight is here against Archie, where he leads in with a Mightyena, and that Mightyena has Intimidate, which is such a brutal ability when our best attacks are all all physical attacks. But luckily by this point we've gotten Dragon Dance, so we can, you know, try to get our attack stat back and get some speed at the same time. No longer do we need to rely on Scary Face in order to maintain priority. Unfortunately, he goes for some sand attacks here and just ruins our accuracy. But, you know, we get lucky, we get one through, and thanks for the Dragon Dance boost, we were actually able to one-shot him due to just being higher level than him, too. Then he follows up with a Golbat. I was feeling lucky, so I was like, oh, why not? We'll just go for another Dragon Claw. Down in one hit. Golbat, not a very strong Pokemon. Crobat, great. Golbat, not so much. Final Pokemon is a Sharpedo. And we're like, hey, you know what? Let's try a third one. And then this is finally where that accuracy just falls to shreds. Nothing we can do from here, though, other than just pray that we get lucky. And luckily, the very next attack we do, and we are able to finish him off. After we're done on the mountain there, we go down the mountain to Flannery, the fire gym leader. And I was feeling a little bit confident. Unfortunately, I forgot to heal up before the fight. And I really didn't want to have to go through that whole puzzle again, so I was just like, let's, you know, see how the fight goes. And I was like, Ancient Power might get us pretty far in this fight. It is super effective. We can hopefully get some stat boosts, which hasn't actually happened for the major fights in the game, so I figured it probably wasn't going to keep happening here, so I do follow up with the Dragon Dance just to make sure we keep going first. I know if Whitney's Torkoal, it might be a Tortoise, but if that thing goes first, it's going to just one-shot us. So it sights up a light screen. Doesn't really matter. We were still able to one-shot it, thankfully, with the Ancient Power. And out comes their Torkoal. This Torkoal is an absolute beast. I remember so many playthroughs as a kid just getting walled by this guy because his overheat does so much damage. As you can see, he's a defensive monster as well, able to hold on even past our buffed-up Ancient Power. She does, like a coward, resort to some Hyper Potion, and we have to lay in one more Ancient Power, get a bad roll on the damage, do even less than last time. And we try to follow it up with our last Ancient Power, but you see, she heals again. Can you imagine healing multiple times at a fight? Really, it's a coward strat. I mean, you can win with anything if you're willing to do that, but we followed up with our very last Ancient Power, and here I was starting to sweat. We were out of PP for our most powerful move, so I was like, I got 2 PP left for Dragon Claw. Let's give it a shot, and thankfully she was out of Hyper Potions. We were able to secure the win. After that, we go get the Mach Bike, because we want to go fast. I'm tired of going so darn slow all the time, before we head on back to Dad's gym. Here I lead him with Dragon Dance, but he counters with a Yawn, putting me to sleep so I can't capitalize on his Truant. And he just starts laying into me with Facade, which gets me down to below half on the first Pokemon, but luckily my Dragon Claw is enough to take him out pretty easily. And here we finally learned Crunch for a little bit of more type variety, which will come in handy later. Next comes out Vigoroth, which is actually an easy one-shot for once. We don't get those very often. I wanted to try out the new Crunch move, and it does okay, not as good as I was hoping, but then we're getting knocked down 20 health, so I'm like, alright, we just gotta kind of pray for a Dragon Claw, and it actually did enough, thanks to that Dragon Dance we did earlier. Now we have to backtrack here to go get an old Rod back from Dewford to catch a Magikarp. Very important to name him Small Snack for later. We put the XP share on him in order to level him up enough to get him to evolve into Gyarados. Now why is this important, you may be asking? 2 reasons. 1, we need another HM Slave. There's so many water moves, it's hoeing. And the reason we do Gyarados is, well, 1, I think the Small Snack, Big Snake joke is funny. 2, he will come in handy for a fight later, you'll see. We teach Flash to cast form, and then we keep moving on. The next big fight of any amount of difficulty is actually the rival fight right before the Flying Gym. Most of our fights at this point we just lead in with Dragon Dance because we need to get as much power and speed as we can due to our low base stats. But they lead in with a Leech Life, and I wasn't really sure I'd be able to take out the Drain Tank. But, you know, we try to go in with a Surf because I know their special defense is just relatively low, but it gets some okay damage in there with their Headbutt, and we're almost at half health, and I'm starting to get a little bit worried, so it looks like one more Surf should take it out, though. The next one out is Numel, and at this point the Leech Light's getting us pretty darn low, but I know Surf is 4 times super effective, and we just Surf right on over him. Which I suppose I didn't mention. Yeah, we learned Surf, because obviously we need some kind of type coverage. Dragon isn't going to get us very far. Like I said, it's not effective against anything but itself, and there's not a whole lot of them, so. But for Machomp here, we just go for a Dragon Claw, and we're lucky enough to get a one-shot. I don't know why, but... Right after that, she gives us the HM for Fly, which we teach to Big Snake. We get rid of Ancient Power, because it's only got 5 PP, and it hasn't been doing that much work for us. Like I said, we haven't been getting any of the stat boosts from it all game. Which I'm realizing now was probably a mistake, because we're going to the Flying Gym, where a Rock move would have been pretty darn helpful. But instead, we are going to lead in with another Dragon Dance. Like I said, we got to get our stats up. They go for a double team, and I was like, getting a little bit nervous. I go for the double buff just to like see if I can get some one-shot potential going on here, and it looks like it does pay off. I was able actually to one-shot the Swellow, didn't have to worry about missing them all the bunch. And then they brought out the Altaria, and the one time we actually have a super effective move. It's super nice. I appreciate that. Thank you, Flying Trainer, for giving me a bit of hope. They then go in with a Pelipper, which I just wanted to try Surf, just see how it does, and it does a little over half, which isn't bad. Could do a lot worse, but they do lead in with a Supersonic, and I was really worried about getting some like bad RNG here. And we do, unfortunately, and because of our buffed up attack, we're just going to be hurting ourselves really bad. But we switch back to Dragon Claw just because, old reliable there, and we managed to finish it off. Finally, it goes in with a Skarmory, and we try to go for a Dragon Claw, and not quite a one-shot. It's not very effective. A little over half, though, which isn't bad. We managed to not get confused to get that second Dragon Claw in to finish it off. After we get that badge, we go back to Mount Pyre to get the Blue Orb. After Mount Pyre, we go to Lily Cove City, where we have to fight May once again. I don't believe this May fight's actually required, but I did want to go into the mall just to shop around for a few healing items and the like. But this one's pretty much just an easy one-shot sweep through most of it. For once, it didn't seem to actually be that much of a challenge. After that, we make our way through the Team Aqua hideout, dealing with teleporters all the way before we head over to Moss Deep City, play on some slides, and we gotta fight the twins, and that is why I got Small Snake here. I thought it'd be funny having the snakes fight side by side, but I did forget he has Intimidate, so technically he does help a little bit in this fight, but not really because they don't use any physical attacks anyway, so I still counted the run as legitimate. But he's allowed to just sit here and splash the whole time. Meanwhile, I'm going for some Dragon Dance, just gonna buff myself up. And the Psychic does some okay damage, but unfortunately this is where I realized I messed up. I forgot to put all my other HM slaves away. So rather than reload the save, I figured we can just play this out, see how it goes, and I decide I'm going to start flying, because that way I'm in the air while they kill all my HM slaves. So they couldn't have hit me here anyway, and then you'll see they go with a Psychic on Django's ship, and then they go for another Psychic onto Castform, taking them both out while I was in the air. So even though they hit the battlefield, they didn't actually do anything, because they couldn't have attacked me anyway. And this is how I justify my perfectly legitimate Rayquaza only run. But I just go with a Surf, just because it hits both of them, and they're both Rock type, so it really seemed like the best option at the time, and it did pretty well. It finished off Lunatone and got Soul Rock down below half. I was feeling pretty confident at this point, but Soul Rock does go with a pretty meaty Psychic here, getting me to not quite half, but it does lower my special defense, but it doesn't end up mattering much as we finish him off. Next big fight here is with Archie. He leads with a Mightyena, giving us an Intimidate, which lowers our power right off the bat. So I tried to go with Surf, because I know it uses our special attack in Gen 3 here. All water moves do. And it turned out to be the right decision. It ended up being able to just one-shot him, even though we're only 5 levels higher than him. I don't know why that Mightyena must just be really weak or something. And then now he finally has a Crobat rather than a Golbat, and I know Crobat can be a monster sometimes. I was afraid of like an Acrobatics or something here, but no, he just goes with a Wing Attack, which doesn't do too much damage. We do get Dragon Dance off here, trying to be able to outspeed the Crobat. I know they're super quick, so I knew we were going to need probably at least one more, but I actually got lucky and only needed the one. Last up is Sharpedo, which we decided to go with a Fly because it's got the same type attack bonus, and it gets us out of the way to dodge that taunt, which ends up working out, and actually surprisingly one-shots. I think now that we're getting a little bit farther into the run, I think Rayquaza is finally starting to get, at least into the mid-tiers, isn't quite as bad as he was at the beginning, as you saw. But at this point, it's just constantly raining, and we got to figure out where to do with that, so we end up running off to Sootopolis at Steven's behest, because obviously a 10-year-old is the best person to call about, climate change and global warming and all that. But we end up finding this big fish in a cave, and I was like, oh, cool, neat. Big fish. I don't care. He makes it rain. Woo. What a big deal, big deal. Go with a Fly. And as I'm in the air, I see he uses Ice Beam, and I panic. It's finally the part of the run I knew was coming. He hits me with an Ice Beam as I land, one-shotting me. Reset. Try it again. Hopefully, let's just hope this time he doesn't think about Ice Beam. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, he thought about Ice Beam. Maybe Fly will crit. No, it doesn't crit. And he uses Ice Beam. Another one-shot. Reset. This time we're going to try leading with a Dragon Claw, which does not even half. And I knew there was no way in hell that he doesn't go with an Ice Beam within one of 3 moves, but we really didn't have another option here. He goes to the Calm Mime off the bat. I try to go just another Dragon Claw, just try to rush him down, get him down as low as possible, as quick as possible, and it's still not even below half, or it's still not dead. It's low, but that's about it. It goes with a Body Slam, doesn't do a whole lot of damage. Not afraid of that. And I was like, all right, let's see if we can catch him. And I realized, oh, because it's a challenge, I haven't bought a single Ultra Ball this game, so I try to go with one Pokeball, fail, and get Ice Beam for my efforts. Fourth try, Dragon Claw. Same as last fight, we try to go for 2 Dragon Claws in a row, and he seems to do Calm Mind Body Slam again. Not sure why. He seems to only go for these when I use Dragon Claws, and every time I fly, he uses Ice Beam. I won't pretend to understand how this fish thinks, but I'll take what I can get. And I throw another Pokeball this time, and actually get lucky enough to catch it. The only reason I really wanted it is, again, it's a Gen 3. We got a lot of Water HMs. I wanted somebody to use Waterfall, and plus he's a cool looking fish, so, why not? Keep him on the team, he'll get his picture in the final credits. So we give him an appropriate name and then move on to the 8th gym, which is one of my favorite gyms in the game, because I remember this puzzle, like, when I was a kid. I was so proud for figuring it out, and I was like, man, I remember this exactly from when I was a kid. I have this whole puzzle memorized. I had absolutely no fear going in here, and then well, I actually fall down that hole. That way I can grind on these trainers, just get some extra money, get some extra XP that I'm definitely going to need to grind up for the gym leader, just in case. But after I clear them out, I come back up here, and I start doing the ice puzzles again, and I just had a misinput on the first one. I do remember these puzzles, like I said, exactly from when I was a kid, and I realized, wait, oh, hold. I came down here because I wanted to be able to make sure I get back to the beginning so I could, like, go heal up. Well, I tried the puzzle again, and, and you can see that I clearly I had gone right instead of left, so here now I figured it out. See, this one I know I got 100% down. This one I feel really good about, and then I go to this one and I just gotta think for a second. I'm definitely not looking it up on another monitor right now. And I'm just channeling my, childhood. I remember this now. Yeah, so you got to do that. You got to skip that space there. And then you do this. Yeah, it's all coming back to me. I'm definitely not. Definitely didn't have to look this one up. Didn't have to look up a puzzle for a child's monster game. And after that, we go off to fight Wallace, final gym leader, and one I was particularly dreading. So I do resist water type, which is what he specializes in, but he does have enough ice moves that I was a little bit nervous, or at least I was pretty sure. As you see, I always lead in with some Dragon Dance, and they try to lead in with some Water Pulse. They get a crit, but it still doesn't do much damage, so I just decided I'm going to set up here, really try to use some strategy. We're getting to the part where, I can't just spam Dragon Claw all day. And thankfully, they always seem to lead in with just, like, worthless Pokemon. So I don't really have to worry about this Love Disc doing too much to me. Then they're going to follow up with a Celio here. We hit it for a Surf doing about half its health, but then it does Aurora Beam, and I was like, I got 9 levels on it. Aurora Beam's not that strong of a move. What are the odds? It doesn't actually one-shot me. So I go for that second Surf to finish it off. But unfortunately, bad roll of the dice, and I don't finish it off, and it hit me with another Aurora Beam, finishing me off, so. Run it back. We just take care of that Love Disc super easy. Take care of the Love Disc super easy. Celio's up next. Dragon Claw him. He goes down. We are messing with him. Then they go for the Melodic. And I know Melodic's a pretty strong Pokemon, so I try to set up just a little bit more to make sure I can get that one shot off. And of course it has Ice Beam. And I was like, oh great, another one shot. Cool. It crits even, just in case, that wasn't enough. So this time I know there's no messing around. We just have to 100% set up on this Love Disc. It's got the Sweet Kiss on us, but honestly, I'll deal with the confusion here. The likelihood that confusion, screws me over as much as the Ice Beam did is pretty low, so I don't mind just going for 3 Dragon Dances this time. To really just make sure I get that speed advantage and see if I can just get a one-shot on that Melodic. Because again, if we don't one-shot them, they're going to one-shot us. So really not another way about it. The Love Disc does so little damage that it's not even really a concern, so just hit it with 2 Surfs and it's down. Out comes Celio, hit it with Dragon Claw, down. And then here comes the Melodic, and then, we just gotta hope it wasn't enough. And it was not even close. We get the half health, it hits us with an Ice Beam. We hold on in the red health, but we are able to take it out, and then we're like, basically screwed if the next Pokemon has an Ice type move, and it's Whiscash, so I didn't think he did. But we hit him with Dragon Claw. Enough to one-shot it, so we don't even have to find out. He probably did, but I don't even want to know. Seeking, I know, has a couple of moves that could be probably really strong. Wasn't sure what he was going to lead in with, so I went with a fly just to fly over whatever the heck it might have been. That is one of the bigger hurdles out of the way. With that, we go to Victory Road. Nothing in here is really too much of a challenge till we get to Wally at the very end. And he leads in with Altaria. And I wanted to try to one-shot with Dragon Claw, and then I realized that I have no more PP left for Dragon Claw. Unfortunately, Victory Road was quite long, and Dragon Claw is our strongest, fastest move, so try to get some Dragon Dances just to set up a little bit, but I get paralyzed right off the bat. I use Safeguard, which I don't really mind too much, and then I'm just going to try to go for some Surfs here, and I realize it doesn't even do half, so our best move was to try to go for Fly. I didn't want to go for Fly because we were paralyzed, and if you get paralyzed in the second part, you're just letting the enemy set up for free, but luckily we didn't, and we were able to finish him off with that. Then he sends out Delcatty here. I tried to just Fly again. He uses Assist. It doesn't seem to be doing all too much, and we just one-shot it anyway. He goes with Magneton next, which isn't the strongest of Pokemon, so I just try to hit it with a Surf, but we get paralyzed. He hits us with Thunderbolt, puts us down to 5 HP. We get paralyzed again, and they finish us off. So we reset, and so this time I just try to lead him straight with a Fly. I want to try to avoid that Dragon Breath, because that's what paralyzed us last time. But instead, this time they go for a Dragon Dance, so they're trying to set up on me. Like, that's not my shtick. But luckily, they sped themselves up so much that they actually missed me while I was still in the air. We try to go for another Fly here to, finish him off, but he used a heal. I miss. He hits me with Dragon Breath. Luckily, no paralysis. And here we are just trying to spam Fly, try to get this Altaria done, and that time it actually killed him, thankfully. We level up, which is nice, and then he comes the Delcatty again. We try to just... Now here's where I'm trying to set up, because I wasn't as afraid of the Delcatty, but of course, has Sing, so no setting up for me. Luckily, the best it does to try to capitalize on our sleep is Giga Drain, which is not going to be doing anything to us because of our typing. It does do Faint Attack again. It can't even get a full half, so I'm not really all that worried. Going with another Fly, and that one's able to, take it out in one shot. Next comes that Magneton that killed us last time, and we're just going to try to go for Surf because it doesn't resist that. It would resist the Fly, and luckily we get a crit to just one-shot it. I don't think it would have been enough otherwise. We go for Fly on Roselia because it's super effective. Dodge its Toxic, which would have been a death sentence. Take it out one shot because it's super effective. Out next comes his Sweeper. It's the Gardevoir. And this thing can learn all kinds of moves. And of course, why would it not have Double Team? So we're going to go for the Fly. And luckily, the Double Team doesn't matter. And we were just able to hit it in one shot it anyway. So with Wally defeated, we move on to the Elite Four. First up is Sydney here, the Dark Trainer. And I wasn't all that worried. We do have 8 levels on his Mightyena, so we lead him with a Surf just because he reduced our attack with Intimidate, so Surf took him out pretty easily. Cacturn, we go with Fly because it's super effective. One-shots as well. Can't complain about that. Next up is Sharpedo. We just try to Fly again because water's not going to be super effective, and I'm really trying to conserve those Dragon Claw PP because I know we're going to need those for the Dragon Trainer coming up at the end. He hits us with a Crunch, which lowers our special defense, but I'm really not all that worried about it. As long as I keep dodging those Swaggers with Fly, I'm not too concerned. His Ruskin does take a little bit more HP, but we do take him down before his Absol comes out. Our attack is still low from the Intimidate, so I still go for Surf. He heals up with the Citrus Berry, but I hit him with a second Surf, and that takes him out. Lastly, Shift Tree. He hits with a Fake Out, doing a little bit of damage, making us flinch, but then we hit up with a Fly. He does use Double Team, but it's not enough. He gets knocked down to a Sliver. Second Double Team. I knew he was going to heal up here, so I went for the Fly anyway. And we get a little bit better roll on the damage, and we managed to take him out. Now up next is Phoebe. This was hell! This was the hardest wall we hit in the entire challenge, and you're about to see why. So first off, we go with Dragon Dance and Curse. Oh, neat, look, Dusclops is at half HP, but we lose a quarter of our HP every turn. I go with a Fly, but I pretty much knew this was over, so we reset. You can't win once you actually get cursed, because it's literally too many Pokemon to take out after that. So this time we actually managed to take down the first Dusclops, so we're like, alright, cool. He sends out another Dusclops, and I'm like, alright, we're at Snap Out of Confusion, hit with a Dragon Claw, and then he uses Ice Beam, and I'm like, well, this is probably going to get us low. Alright, cool, a little under half. Heals with a Citrus Berry. Second Dragon Claw, can't kill him. Second Ice Beam, takes us out. We reset again. This happens so many times. I reset, I don't even want to know how many times during all this. I tried so many different combinations of Dragon Dance into something else. If you try to set up on the first Dusclops, he hits you with Curse. If you manage to take him out with Fly without getting cursed, then the second one just takes you out with Ice Beam because you can't one-shot him. This time we got bad confusion luck into Curse. I was hoping we could just deal with the confusion and take him out, but we couldn't. I feel like the AI cheats because every time I go for Dragon Dance, he just uses Curse. Every time I go for Fly, no Curse, he uses Shadow Punch. Mighty convenient how that works out, isn't it? Hit the Fly, get the curse. And blah, blah, blah. I think you guys get the point at this point. I even looked through my TM bag trying to find anything I could find. But the problem is 2 of my moves right now are HMs. So even if it was something I want to replace, I really don't want to get rid of Dragon Claw or Dragon Dance. So replacing with a different move wasn't going to be the solution. So after about a dozen or 2 attempts, we end up just losing. And you can see here, now we're level 58 after, several minutes of grinding. And we come in, we hit him with Fly, Confuse Ray, we can deal with the Confuse Ray. And I got lucky, here's the Dragon Claw. We take the first one out. Out comes the second one, get through the confusion, hit him with the Dragon Claw, he hits us with an Ice Beam. Doesn't take us below half now, which is a huge improvement. And our Dragon Claw actually can 2-shot through the Citrus Berry now, which is a marked improvement. Now comes the Banette, and I'm feeling pretty confident at this point. 1-shot with the Dragon Claw. Out comes Sableye, 1-shot with the Dragon Claw, and another Banette. 1-shot with the Dragon Claw, and I breathed a sigh of relief, and then remembered that Glacia is next, the Ice Trainer. They'll get, the guy who's 4 times super effective against us. Yeah, so it just keeps getting better. So we lead him with 2 Dragon Dances here. He gets a light screen up, and Hail, which I kind of forgot that my ability finally comes in handy. It makes us immune to Hail, even though we're not Ice type, which, super cool. And we get hit by an Ice Beam for 90% of our HP. Cool. And bad roll on the damage, we lose. 1-shot. Reset, try it again, get a few more Dragon Dances in this time. It just keeps taking us down to 37 HP. This time we try to go for a Fly, just to see if, I don't know, maybe that'll do better. And we get a crit, so I was like, whoa, alright, let's see what's up next. I got 37 HP, I'm ready to take on the world. Celio, cool. Light screen wears off, we go for a Fly, and we actually 1-shot him too, and I'm like, oh, maybe we got something here. Maybe we got something here. And then the second Celio comes out, and he's got Blizzard. I'm like, well, maybe it'll miss. We 1-shot him anyway, didn't even matter. Another Glalie, and I'm like, can I just 1-shot sweep? Can I just 1-shot sweep? And I missed the Fly. Ice Beam. Reset. Are you seeing a pattern here yet? Lead in with a few Dragon Dances. Get hit by an Ice Beam, lose 90% of our HP, and then just pray. Which, there we get confirmed that we don't actually need a crit on that first Glalie to 1-shot with Fly, which is nice. It's a good thing to learn. There they did miss a Blizzard, so thankfully we don't just get straight up murdered. Before we keep hitting them with some more Flies, keep 1-shotting. Here comes the other Glalie that killed us last time. We managed to take them out in 1 hit with a Fly, and then the Wall Rain. And I know Wall Rain's pretty beefy, and I was like, just see what we can get here. And we actually get the 1-shot, and I was so thankful for that. Moving on, we get up to Drake, and I was feeling pretty confident, honestly. Like, this is the first time our Dragon typing's been, well, both a hindrance, but actually useful for once. So, we set up with a couple of Dragon Dances here. Get with a couple of Rock Tomes, which does lower our speed, but we at least get double power out of it. He uses Protect, but that doesn't save him. Hit him with the Dragon Claw, take him down. Altaria comes out, hit him with the Dragon Claw, take him down. Out comes Flygon, hit him with the Dragon Claw, take him down. Are you seeing the pattern yet? Once we get finally buffed up, there's not a whole lot else we can do other than just spam our one useful move. Unfortunately, just due to the simplistic nature of these really bad Pokemon like this, there's pretty much just one best strategy, and that's what you have to do in pretty much every fight, unfortunately. But with that, we take Drake out easily enough, and I forgot to save and heal before Steven. I'm a good Pokemon trainer, guys, I promise. And of course, we get crit right off the bat. Set up with 2 Dragon Dances, and I'm just sitting here, like, really not wanting to go refight Drake again. But I realize I'm probably gonna have to. But, we're staying positive. We get the Surf onto Skarmory, and that takes that out. We hit the Surf onto Claydol, and I was pretty confident, and it does take it out, too. We do level up here to 61, and I was just hoping that stat boost would be enough to be able to one-shot Cradily, and I realized we're out of Dragon Claw now. So now we gotta go for Fly onto the Grass Rock type, which could be worse, but then he hits us with the Ancient Power. He managed to get all the stat boost that we never got when we were using Ancient Power a whole lot, and then he takes us out. I go refight Drake, actually managed to save this time before fighting Steven and healing up. We refight Skarmory, he wastes a turn throwing out Spikes, which we don't care about because we're only using a Rayquaza. No need to swap. He uses a full restore, I use a Surf, it takes him out. Play it all again, gets one-shot by Surf. The ground typing doesn't do it many favors here. Hit 61 again, and here we fight Cradily again. Go for the Fly, and this time we actually get a good roll in. It actually managed to take him out. I was a little nervous about the Armaldo here, but I thought Surf would be good because it's super effective, and it turns out it was. Aggron, I know, is a defensive beast, but his special defense is low, and we were able to take him out with a Surf. And the last Pokemon, the Nye Legendary Metagross. We get a crit with our Dragon Claw, but not enough. and his Meteor Mash hits us hard, and I watched him heal up, and I really was worried, but looks like Surf actually does more than our signature move of Dragon Claw, so. But that was the challenge. We actually managed to win. I was kind of surprised. I really thought we'd have to hit max level to be able to take out that Metagross, but I guess we got lucky. Doing challenges like these super interesting, because you never think, you know, why would you try to use some of these bad Pokemon? In most games, I'm pretty casual, and I just use, you know, usually pretty good Pokemon like Swampert or Blaziken or something like that. Self-imposed restrictions like this, trying to, you know, utilize Pokemon that maybe aren't as used in the community, or, I don't know. I think it's a fun challenge. But of course, I am far from the first person to do a bad Pokemon challenge, so I gotta, once again, give a shout out to Madrybread and JRose11. They're the two that really got me started into, I watch a lot of the Pokemon runs they do, and I wanted to try my own spin on it, so. Thank you all for watching. I hope you had some fun. I hope you learned a little bit of something. You know, don't rule out a Pokemon just because they're bad typings or bad stats or abilities, so. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.